So let's see an execution. First of all, instruction is decoded and the respective control address register is loaded with the first micro instruction address that needs to be executed. In second stage, the sequence logic issues read command to the control memory. So now we want to have the first micro instruction, that is the in first T cycle we're going to have the first micro instruction which is going to generate the control signals. Okay, so read command is issued, the address is specified by the CAR. Okay, then the micro instruction is read into the control buffer register. So now control buffer register contains the micro instruction bit sequence. Now it can generate its control signals. Now this thing generates two parts. First of all, it contains the control signals, okay, for that particular T cycle. So some micro operation is going to be performed depending on that. And second thing is, it also generates the next micro instruction address information, which is already present in the micro instruction format. We have seen it. So this information contains the address as well as the condition bit, which is to be checked. And it is forwarded to the sequence logic. So one T state is almost complete. And finally, the sequence logic is going to load the CAR with new micro instruction address based on the ALU flags and the next address information from the control buffer register. You've seen this. So whether to jump or go to the next micro instruction, that is decided by the sequence logic. So that is a very crucial component here, and the design is very important. So in this step 4, where the next micro instruction address is loaded by the sequence logic, there are 3 possible scenarios. First of all, we can have immediately the next micro instruction, that is the which is incrementing the CAR. Okay, this is normal. If the jump condition is true, okay, then we are going to have the micro instruction specified by the jump address in CBR. And otherwise, we can have a completely new instruction from the decoder itself. So for example, the main instruction has completed its execution, and now we want to execute the next instruction. So we can load if the current instruction execution is complete. I'm talking about main instruction here, not micro instruction. Please don't confuse here. So it can load the new micro instruction address for the new main instruction. That is, it can be something different. Add after add, it can be load. So like that. So we have seen the architecture and functioning of microprogram control unit. I hope you have understood it. Now let's take a quick look at the advantages and disadvantages. The advantages of this control unit is that the implementation is very simple, or the design is very simple, and it is also very flexible. So if you want to add certain new instructions to the design, you can do it just by adding the micro instructions to the control memory. However, it has some disadvantages, that the performance is slower, and it provides very less security for the hardware, since the hardware is actually programmable. That is, using the control memory, we have direct access to the control unit of the processor. So that has some security issues as well as speed issues. However, due to its simplicity and flexibility, macroprogram control unit is widely used in many processors. So I hope you have understood the concept. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.